Hello, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk on DNT Work. My name is Oluja Kemosaku, and it's indeed a great privilege and an honor to know that you're always there to watch me. And on today's episode of Let's Talk, we have managing difficult conversations. Managing difficult conversations. You know, there are times, well, I've been talking about workplace lately, and I feel that that's very important for us to actually deal with. And perhaps there are people who have questions. Well, it's an opportunity for you to, have answers to your question. And if in case it's not answered, you can always drop your question and we'll get back to you. Now, my guest is Greg Okeke. He is the supervisor at Yahoo Social Services in New York. And he's right here. He will be doing justice to the topic.
JK Royal Signatures, a blend of African fabric.
Thank you so much, Greg, for coming on the show. It's nice having you.
Thank you, Joke.
Now, when we say conversation, how would you define it?
Conversation could be explained as an interaction between two or more persons.
Okay.
Now to have a resolution or to communicate something.
So have you ever been in a situation where you need to handle now difficult conversations? Because what we're talking about today is managing difficult conversations. Or before we go into that particular question, would you say there are difficult conversations?
Yeah, sure. In every interaction, sometimes we can find ourselves in difficult conversation. I'd rather say that a difficult conversation is an interaction that involves a controversial or challenging topic. And sometimes it evokes strong emotions. And so we also need to carefully navigate it in order not to hurt people and then to get the desired results.
Now, have you ever been in such situation where you need to manage difficult conversations, and how were you able to employ the use of assertiveness and empathy even while in that situation?
Okay. When it comes to difficult conversation, something very important, first of all, to listen to know each person's point of view, to listen to know the background from which the person is speaking. So I would rather say in dealing with it on my own part, first of all, I do what I call active listening. I deliberately listen to allow the person to air his view and then to know where the person is going to and possibly to see what the person is thinking like. That's the first thing some people might be, for instance, when you come to a situation whereby someone is making a complaint about something, you have no right to tell the person that he or she does not feel what he or she's feeling. So you have to listen to know what the person is feeling like or what has led to the person's feeling or maybe being treated bad. Maybe sometimes people feel they're being treated bad. You also need to listen in an empathy form. That's to listen empathetically. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So now going back to that part of active listening, I actually have here that what is the place of active listening and communication while ensuring that you understand the other person's perspective in difficult conversations?
In active listening, what we try to do is to remove bias, remove presumption, and creating a safe space for the person to air his view without being judged. And then you listen without, one listens without interrupting, one listens with the motive of understanding, not with the motive of responding. Because in that kind of, when you create that kind of atmosphere, you might be surprised that you hear what you never expected. And so it gives a room for improvement.
I would like to take you on what you said, listening with the motive of understanding, not reasoning, if I get that right. Can you please explain further on or
Yeah.
give
Okay,
examples
I
of
said,
such
yeah, I
scenarios?
said listen with the motive of understanding and not responding. Because
Okay.
most of the times, why I said that most of the times, um, when it comes to the boss and the person he's speaking to, sometimes the boss already has something to say and has made up his mind. And so whatever the person is saying, the challenge sometimes is that the person is listening to respond to finish up the points. So when I say listening with understanding is, what I mean by that point is when you listen to try to understand what's the standpoint from this each person is speaking. Is it that you are not being clear, or is the information you're passing foggy? Or so you need to listen to know what the person understands and how the person understands things, which is very important because people viewed life from the lens of which they see things. So if you're putting on a blue glasses and you're looking at the sun, every place will look blue to you. Same with the black. So
Mm,
active listening gives you a clarity of what the person understands from whatever you said.
mm. Now, what strategy would you put in place or would you advise people to take while resolving conflicts, especially in workplace, even though there are different scenarios that conflicts can be managed, or or you can have difficult conversations in family, in the midst of friends, or even at a workplace as a leader?
Okay. I would advise that number one, you stay calm because sometimes people come to you with some kind of grievance and attack, and sometimes with vehemence. And if you are not careful, you might slip, and then everything changes. So first thing I would advise in this kind of situation is that you stay calm, take a deep breath, and promise yourself not to talk. Very important. Do not interrupt when the person is speaking. That's the first thing I would suggest. And then secondly, I would also suggest that you be aware of who you are. I call it self-awareness. When you're self-aware of what triggers you, how to react to things, it also give you a better space or a better a common space for you to listen. If the person is coming at the wrong time, you can excuse yourself and tell him or her, can we talk about this some other time? And then knowing also when the environment is tense and knowing how to move out is very important in resolving things. And in speaking, maintaining a kind of serenity, decorum, calm atmosphere, such that whatever points you want to play across or pose across will be listened to and be accepted. Another thing I will also suggest is when these things are when you see that things are not within your control, you can also seek to adjourn the meeting and also call for a higher authority where the person, someone of a higher cadre can intervene or speak to the person. Sometimes I also suggest that when things that are very delicate are being attended to, you can also seek for people that understand the person and speak to them, such that in one way or the other they can maybe break it in pieces to the person. Yeah.
Okay, let's quickly go to your own leadership skills and um, qualities. Now, would you share some life experiences you've had, or when you had to, have these difficult conversations and how you were able to, maneuver it and still get a desired result?
Okay, I wouldn't know whether to give a particular instance of an incident or a situation where I find myself in difficult conversation. But more or less, being there as a leader at some point, people come with you with different views and different opposing views. And the challenge that comes with it is that as a leader, you are representing something and somebody. For instance, if you're in a company, you are also representing the company's policy. What it means is that you are trying to drive into the people you're working with what the company expects. And sometimes when the feedback you get might be personal, from their own personal perspective, or they don't feel like doing this because it's this way or that way. So I would say more or less I find myself in that kind of situation whereby I will have to still want to pass the point across, and then being careful that I'm also working with them and they're also human beings.